How do you know if your house you are about to buy is actually safe for your wallet and not just approved by the bank? Most first-time home buyers who are looking at property in Malaysia think like this. If the bank approve my loan, it means I can afford it. That is exactly how people end up with a house that maybe looks nice on the Instagram but quietly kills their cash flow every single month. So in this video, I want to show you 3 simple steps to check if you can truly afford the house you are planning to buy in Malaysia, so you do not accidentally end up with a home that feels like a burden for the next 10 to 20 years. I am Hadi, so on my channel, I help people who want to buy property in Malaysia, especially first-time home buyers, to make clearer decisions in simple language without fancy jargon. I am not a banker and I am not a financial advisor. I just care way more about you not overcommitting for the next 20 or 30 years than about making a house look attractive on paper. In this video, I am going to be very direct and break things down in simple terms. You can decide for yourself what is actually safe for you. Imagine this. You walk into a sales gallery. The show unit is beautiful. The video looks like a drama and everyone is very friendly. You sit down with the agent at the table. They ask your income, basic commitment, existing loan, and then they open a simple calculator and press a few numbers. And then they say to you like this. Roughly, based on this, you can get this much loan from the bank. On paper, it looks fine. So you feel proud. You post new home loading on social media. For the first few months, everything feels okay. Then life happens. Maybe your overtime pay get reduced. Maybe your commission is not as high as last year. Maybe you are expecting a baby. And maybe your parents suddenly need more help. Now the same installment that felt okay at the beginning suddenly feels very heavy. You can still pay, but every month you feel tight, stressed, and a bit stuck. The house is not really the problem. The calculation and the starting question were wrong. So I do not want you to end up in that situation anymore. So here is what we are going to do in this video. I am going to give you 3 simple steps. Step number 1, figure out your real monthly comfort zone. Step number 2, translate that into a realistic house price range. Step number 3, stress test that number so you do not quietly overstretch yourself. And at the end, I will share a few common traps that catch a lot of first-time buyers and what can you do if your situation feels messy and you want to talk to someone about it. So now, let us start with step number 1. Step number 1 is your real monthly comfort zone. So, the first mistake most people make is starting with the bank's question. The question is, how much loan can I get approved? That question is designed to find your maximum on paper. It is not designed to protect your real life. For step number 1, you need a different question. The question is, how much can I pay every month and still sleep well at night for the next 10 to 15 years? Not for 1 month, not for 3 months, 4 years. This is what I call your monthly comfort zone. You cannot outsource the number to the bank. You cannot outsource it to the agent. You also cannot outsource it to your friend who just bought a house. This number has to come from you. So, how do you find your monthly comfort zone? You look at your real life. You look at your income, existing commitment, how much you want to save, basic lifestyle, not the fantasy version, and also not your friend's lifestyle. Your actual day-to-day life. Then, you ask yourself honestly, if I pay this amount every month for the next 10 to 15 years, will I feel calm or will I feel tight and anxious every time the due date comes? Now, let me give you a simple example. Let us say you think about your life and you decide, if my house installment is around 2,000 a month, I can still live, still save, and still sleep well at night. If it goes far above that, I will start to feel very tight. So, for this example, we take 2,000 per month as your comfort zone. It does not mean you must copy this number. Everyone's number is different. I am just using 2,000 so you can see how the next steps work. So, step number 1 is this. choose a monthly amount that you can pay on time every month, still pay your other bills, still save a bit, and still live a normal life without feeling choked. That is your comfort zone. Now, we go for step number 2, to turn your monthly comfort zone into a house price range. Once you have that figure, then only we talk about the house price. Most people do it the other way around. They fall in love with a house price first, and then they try to force their life to fit that number. You want to do the opposite. You start with your life, then you see what kind of house fits inside your life. So what do you actually do for this step number 2? You take your monthly comfort zone amount. So for our example is 2,000 per month. Then you open any housing loan calculator. Most of this calculator will ask you for property price, how much down payment you pay, for example 10%, the interest rate, which is for example 4%, and then the loan tenure, for example 35 years. After you fill those in, the calculator will show you the monthly installment. So in practice, this step number 2 is about playing with the property price until the monthly installment comes close to your comfort zone. Let me show you roughly how it looks. So example number 1, you key in a property price of 400,000, 10% down payment, 4% interest for 35 years. The monthly installment will be somewhere around 1,600. And then example 2, you key in a property price of 500,000 with the same setting. The monthly installment will be somewhere around 2,000. And then example 3, you key in 600,000 with the same setting. Now the monthly can go up to around 2,400. So if your comfort zone is 2,000, this simple play around tells you something. Around 400,000, your installment is below your comfort zone. Around 500,000, your installment is roughly at your comfort zone. Around 600,000, your installment is already above your comfort zone. These are not exact quotation, but because this exact monthly amount will depend on your bank, maybe the package you choose, and the latest interest rate during your application. The point here is to use your comfort zone as a reference and adjust the property price until the calculator shows a monthly amount that you are okay with. So let me give you a quick example from myself. When I bought a house, the agent showed that I can take a loan up to 1 million. On paper, it looked very impressive. But when I look at my own comfort zone and my real life, I decided to cap myself at around half from that. So I only take loan roughly around 500,000. Definitely not 1 million. The agent said I can go higher, but I think my stress level, my sleep is way more important. So for this example, you might say, for my situation, a house somewhere around the mid 400,000 to 500,000 still makes sense. Above that, I am starting to push myself. So that is what step number 2 is about. You do not start from what is the most expensive house you can get. You start from your limit is 2,000 a month. So what house price range that keep you near that number? Now, here is where a lot of people get pulled off track. After you see your comfort base range, someone might say, actually based on your income, you can go higher than this. The fact that they are willing to push you higher does not mean your future self will thank you for that. The bank sees your numbers on a screen, but they do not see your parents, do not see your kids, do not see your stress level or your plan for the next 10 years. So once you have your comfort-based price range, like for this example, roughly 400,000 to about 500,000, treat that as your main reference, not the bank maximum. So the next one is step number 3, to stress test your number. So in this step, there is 3 simple tests on the monthly amount you are planning to commit. You can still think with the same example, which is the 2,000 per month. Test number 1 is the stress test. You ask yourself, what happens if something goes wrong? What if your income drops? your overtime pay disappears, your commission suddenly becomes half, or if someone in your family needs extra help. If any of these things happen, can you still pay this 2,000 installment without going into survival mode every single month? If your honest answer is maybe, or I am not sure, that is a warning sign. You do not want an installment that only works in perfect condition. You want an installment that can survive some turbulence. And next, test number 2 is the lifestyle test. Here, the question is not, can I technically pay 2,000? The question should be, what do I have to sacrifice to pay 2,000 every month? Will you need to kill almost all the small joy in your life just to keep up with this house? No simple meals outside, no short breaks, and always saying no to small things that actually make life feel human. Maybe you are okay to sacrifice a lot for a few years. Maybe you are not. But you have to be honest about what you can maintain in the long term. If this installment forces you to live like a robot, there is a high chance you will start using credit cards later just to feel normal again. That is where people get into deeper trouble. Next one is the test number 3, the future plan test. Most people only calculate based on today. But the next 3 to 5 years, many things can change. Maybe you want to get married, maybe you want to have a child, to change job, to start a business, or study again. Or maybe you want to support your parents more. All of these things will increase your expenses. So, you ask yourself, if my expenses go up in the next 3 to 5 years, is this 2,000 installment still manageable? Or will it become a serious problem? If your number only works for your life right now, and it will completely break when 1 or 2 things change, you are basically building a time bomb. So basically, this step number 3 is taking the number from step number 2. For example, the 2,000 a month for a house somewhere around 400,000 to 500,000, and run through this stress test, lifestyle test, and the future plan test. If it passes all 3, your number is probably a lot safer than what most people are using. So, we are finishing all the steps. Now, I will explain about some of the common traps. So, one common trap is copying your friend. Your friend buy a house at a certain price, so you feel you also need to buy at that level or higher. But actually, you don't know their full picture. You don't know their family support, their side income. You also don't know how much they are struggling behind the scene. Your affordability is not a competition. Another trap is treating the banker or agent as the final authority in your life. They are important. You need them to complete the transaction, but their incentive is simple. The bank earns when the loan goes out, while the agent earns when the deal closes. Your job is not to fight them, but your job is to protect yourself by thinking first and signing later, not signing first and thinking later. And the third trap is forgetting everything outside the installment. The brochure will highlight the property price and the monthly installment, but there are many other things. There are legal fees, stamp duties, renovation. Maybe you need to buy furniture, appliances, and for strata properties, there is maintenance and sinking fund. Maybe there are things like toll, petrol, parking, if the location is far from where you actually live and work. Sometimes the installment looks okay, but the life around the house is what breaks you. So to keep this simple, let me repeat the 3 things you need to remember. Number 1, decide your own monthly comfort zone based on your real life, not the bank maximum. In our example, that was around 2,000 per month. Number 2, use a housing loan calculator and play with the numbers until the monthly installment match that comfort zone. With 2,000 per month, 4% interest, 35 years of loan tenure, that give a rough range somewhere in the mid 400,000 to 500,000 in our example. And even if the system says that you can go up to 1 million, you can still choose to cap yourself much lower, like just what I did. And number 3, stress test that number with 3 questions. What if my income drops? What will my lifestyle look like? And what happens when my future plans increase my expenses? if your number survives those 3 steps, you are already in a safer position than most people who just say, the bank approved me, so it should be okay. Now I know some of you are thinking, my situation is messy, my income is not stable, I have many commitments, or I work in Singapore but I want to buy in Malaysia. Maybe I am not even Malaysian but I am looking at property there. That is normal. Not everyone fits perfectly into a simple formula. If you want to talk about your situation or you have any concern about buying property in Malaysia, you can click the WhatsApp link on my channel and just send me short message about what you are planning to do, what you are worried about, and we can go through together. I also put a free comparison guide in the description for 2 new projects near the border between Malaysia and Singapore. The project is Causeway Square and the Asturias. If you are considering that area, this comparison guide will help you see the basics side by side. So you can decide which project makes more sense for your budget, for your lifestyle, for your purpose. I'm not sure. So you just click the link. If you find this video helpful and you want more simple breakdown like this without heavy jargon, you can, of course, subscribe to this channel. I am going to make more videos for people who are buying property in Malaysia, especially first-time buyers who are scared of making the wrong decision. Comment below and tell me right now, what is the most confusing part of buying property for you? Is it the loan? Is it choosing between new launch and sub-sale? Or is it about location or the hidden cost? Your comment will help me decide what to cover in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.